Bickley and Marana Mornings. Arizona Sports. The local sports leader. Bickley Blast.
Devin Booker tried to ruin my weekend. So did Kyler Murray. The two guys who wear number one in this town. The two guys who once represented the future of Arizona sports. The two guys commanding nearly $100 million in annual wages, conspiring to spoil maybe the greatest Cinderella story we've ever seen. But like everything else they did this weekend, they both failed. I mean, what else compares to the story of the 2024 Sun Devils? They have a first-round bye in the first ever expanded college football playoff, and if you found yourself repeating that line in your head multiple times over the weekend just so it would sink in, you are not alone. In fact, the Sun Devils could have and should have had a number 3 seed and a home game in the Fiesta Bowl, but those in the program say it's better this way, to get out of town, away from all the family and the ticket requests, from all the pressure to win and the distractions of playing a game in Glendale. And I can see their point, and the bigger point is much more important. Namely, when Saturday's game was over, the Big 12 commissioner said ASU has been the best team in the country over the past 6 weeks. And then came Sunday morning when the sight of them in a playoff bracket, slotted with a bye in the quarterfinals, nearly brought me to tears. That is the pride and astonishment we're all feeling. A team led by a 34-year-old head coach, picked to finish last, and a running back who is like trying to tackle a bowling ball. My advice, don't let anything ruin that. All right, today's Bickley Blast brought to you by my great friends at Chapman BMW, who make luxury attainable. Find them online at chapmanbmw.com.
Back to throw is Beck. Plenty of time. Pass deflected at the line of scrimmage. Intercepted. It's picked off by Keith Abney. Abney is at the 25. Now reversing his field, trying to get back to the near side, and he is tackled at the 25-yard line. Rocco Beck had all day to throw, and yet his pass was deflected and picked off by Keith Abney, who comes from nearby Waxahachie, Texas, and just picked off his 3rd interception of the season. Levitt looking left, throwing for the end zone for Guillory. Guillory makes a great catch and has his 2nd consecutive touchdown. Guillory was blanketed in coverage by cornerback Miles Purchase, but somehow reached around Purchase to grab it with his hands and pluck down his 2nd consecutive touchdown this half.
An excellent blast as always, Bick. There's a reason why I played those 2 particular highlights.
All right.
Do you know what the reason is?
Because you said Waxahachie.
No.
Oh.
Because you mentioned the uniform numbers of Devin Booker and Kyler Murray being number 1, and both of them failing to live up to those numbers. Those highlights by Keith Abney, number 1 on ASU's defense, and Xavier Guillory, number 1 on ASU's offense.
That's fantastic.
Both had better weekends than the number 1s who are combining to make $100 million this year.
Well done, Vinny. That's really, really good. So, yeah, the emotion of it all to me was overwhelming. I'm sure it was exactly that way for you. Saturday, after that game was over, I think we all as a city were just in a hazy, buzzy, great place. And it kind of... And watching them get the trophy and watching all of that and watching Cam Scadaboo with that belt that he had, all of it was fantastic. And then you got to that show on Saturday or on Sunday morning. I didn't really have any fear that ASU was going to get left out after Clemson rallied to win that game. But
see, I had fear that Clemson would jump them.
But honestly, we're us, so you never know. And so getting this has just been, it's been surreal to the point of I don't know where else to use that word ever again. Saturday's game, Javon Robinson, who was predated on, picked on during the end of that BYU game, only to come up with that huge interception, had himself quite a game. This team is just everything you want in an underdog, in a Cinderella. I had mentioned my personal feeling about this. We had a great charity event at Waltz TV and Appliance on Saturday, and right when the Sun Devils went up 38-10, there was 6:27 left in the 3rd quarter. There was a group of us hanging out in front of a television watching the game, and we were all nervously fretting the next possession. They were up 28 points in the game, and we were all acting like it was a one-possession game. That's how traumatized we are, right? And that's how much we've come to expect the worst. Our good buddy Dave Leonard, great ASU fan, he sent me a funny text. Said, T-shirts are important. Now ASU fans can walk around for the rest of their lives with college football playoff T-shirts, just like U of Arizona, has been able to walk around with Final Four shirts for 25 years.
By the way,
nice little backhanded right across Arizona.
I'm happy for a lot of people, but I'm really happy for people like Dave Leonard.
Yeah.
Because Dave is one of those fans that doesn't waver in his support when things are bad. And ASU football is coming out of maybe its worst stretch ever. Mm-hmm. And he and his buddies were traveling to road games, repping and
Michigan
going to every
State,
game. Yes.
Yeah.
That's who I'm happy for.
Yeah,
and you talk about the emotion of all of it for longtime fans. It felt a lot like, for me, going back to when I was a teenager, and I remember watching ASU wrap up the Pac-10 championship in 1986, quarterbacked by Jeff Van Raphorst. The game was on TBS against California on a Saturday night, and they wiped the floor with Cal to wrap up the Pac-10. 10 years later, 96 team. Got to be on the field covering that game, but on the field when the field storm happened, again beating Cal. Now, I was sitting on my couch by myself, but watching this, it was a very similar feeling. And one of the thoughts that I had was, this doesn't happen often enough. And the optimism here is that this becomes the reality that we're talking about this every single year. I think this conference landscape is ripe for somebody to take the reins as the team to beat. And look, ASU's got the first bite at the apple, so why not hold on to it?
And you said something during our interview with Jeff Van Raphorst that is so accurate. When they won their 6th game, they became bowl eligible, and that was like a party for us.
Yes.
That was an absurd accomplishment for the Sun Devils, and they haven't lost since.
Well, their 5th win was the win against Utah. That was the one that put them over to over the over-under when Kenny Dillingham made that, hey, if you won money on us, put it back into the collective, and everybody had a chuckle about it.
That's right.
They lost the next week at Cincinnati. That was the game they played without Sam Levitt. The next game was the win at Oklahoma State to go 6-2. And that was bowl eligibility, and you're like, wow, this program's arrived. They've accomplished their goals. They have not lost since.
That's unbelievable. And again, to come up big in these big moments is just so unlike Arizona sports teams. That's part of this. And you're back there shaking your head, Jared, but you don't approve? You're not enjoying this? I thought on Friday you said you were cheering for them.
Well, that was in the context of a comic segment. No, they're very likable. They're very enjoyable, and they're just crushing teams lately. Mm-hmm. It's hard not to be on board. But it's not impossible, and I'll find a way.
The icing on the cake, Bick. Did you see our boy Clu Haywood's tweet over the weekend?
Oh, yeah, it was fantastic. Go ahead and share it.
He hates ASU. Mm-hmm. Proud U of A alum.
Oh, absolutely.
Good for ASU. Yeah, I said it. Take the entire playoff down, you objectively stupid commuter college morons. Go Devils.
Go Devils.
That was like the perfect feather in the cap for Saturday night, and then Sunday in sports happened.
Thanks for watching Bickley and Marotta. Click to see the latest Bickley Blast and hit the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.